gentlemen, good evening. It is my extreme pleasure to be here with you this evening. We want to welcome the members of council, folks from state and local government, local entrepreneurs and business leaders, leaders from our faith community, healthcare and education partners, friends. This is the 2016 State of the City, and it's my pleasure to be here with you this evening. Spent a lot of time in the last couple of weeks preparing for this message, watching politicians give speeches, and I want to let you know this message tonight is going to be huge. Huge. Amazing. Maybe, maybe not. I've got some prepared statements tonight. We've got a presentation to follow. We have so much to be thankful for and excited about in the city of Xenia. Truly, we gather here 2 days before Thanksgiving. The blessings are too numerous to count. We have a growing community, an expanding community, a growing economy, improving schools and healthcare services. Truly a city moving forward. We work and live in a peaceful town with abundant opportunity. We thank God for His abundance. Truly, Thanksgiving is all about giving thanks and giving some praise. We have so much to be thankful for. This evening we're, as I said, very pleased to provide the State of the City. The State of the City address is really an opportunity for us to reflect on what we've accomplished this past year and also to look ahead to 2017 and to share a common vision for what's to come. As we look ahead, Xenia is certainly facing a lot of changing times. Well, life often faces, challenges, and we have change that we have to meet head on. That change comes with some fear. Well, here and now this evening, I think it's time that we embrace the winds of change in this community. We've seen lots of devastating winds in this community in the past, but we want to transition from that poor community that had the tornado to the family community that's the envy of the region. And we think that's within our capacity to do. We're committed to maintaining our small town charm and values while at the same time ushering in new opportunities for our future. And while we seek the winds of change that will expand our economy and will position us for community growth, this does not mean that we're willing to change the community values that we live by. We are people that are faithful in our beliefs. We support our friends and neighbors. We're committed partners to those who will partner with us. We are solution-oriented, and we are committed to service. These community traits won't change, even as the world around us challenges these very values. In our discussion this evening, it's important to touch on several key areas of concern. Things like city finances, service delivery, our evolving economy, and the steps that we're taking to create a community of choice in Xenia. I should be able to cover each of these in about an hour apiece, so we'll keep it brief this evening, but these are all very, very important things to our community and important to each of you as community leaders. So let us focus first on city finances. As city leaders, our most important priority is fiduciary. Ensuring the fiscal integrity and financial sustainability of our community is our top priority. In recent times, this has presented a pretty significant challenge for the leaders of the city. Much of the challenge has resulted from reductions in funding at the state level. Local government funds, which have long been a staple resource for general services, have seen significant reductions in recent years. This chart kind of points that out. To add to this challenge, the years preceding 2016 saw consistent stagnation in our income tax collections. And this is troublesome because income tax is a significant portion of the resources that we have available for general services. Unfortunately, this was not well-timed because our property taxes have seen stagnation or decline as well. The net result of these funding cuts and impediments was a cash flow deficit for our key operating funds to the tune of about $665,000 in fiscal year 2015. Now, we had sufficient reserves available to cover this shortfall, but operating deficits are a very, very troubling condition, and they are not sustainable for local governments. The 2015 deficit came despite some very austere measures that the city has taken. We're very accountable and responsible when it comes to how we spend public resources. To demonstrate this, consider the comparison chart that we have here that shows the consumer price index over a 5-year period preceding 2016 compared with our key operating funds over the same period. The comparison shows that the average household was spending more than we were on an annual basis in terms of new spending. CPI averaged about 1.79% annually over this period. Xenia's expenses increased at a rate of under that at 1.41%. This fact is very important because our public needs to understand that we're responsible in our spending, that we are focusing on core essential services and not extraneous things that are unimportant to the community or to its growth. As I said, we're accountable. Despite these austere approaches, we entered 2016 expecting the possibility of an even worse cash flow situation as a result of all of these combined state-level cuts fully taking effect, as well as these stagnating conditions as we talked about. And on top of that, the state made some decisions with regard to income tax collections and how local governments can collect income taxes. Candidly, because of all these things, we anticipated a cash flow deficit this fiscal year of about $1.1 million. And while reserve funds were again available to cover this deficit, we as city leaders, our city council in particular, knew that this situation required quite assertive action. And we did just that. We, in collaboration with the council, made adjustments to reduce spending. We kept multiple staff vacancies open to reduce costs. We sought to maximize every revenue opportunity that we have. Our efforts were successful and positioned us to be on better footing as we proceeded through this year. But what we observed in the way of our revenues over the course of this year was far more positive than what we had anticipated earlier. Side effects of the state legislation changes to income tax collections also had a side effect that accelerated certain revenue collections. This, combined with some inherent growth in income tax and other revenues in our community, really presented us with a much brighter fiscal outlook than we had originally anticipated. In fact, in 2016, as of now, we are expecting to end the year with a cash flow, positive cash flow of about $1 million, which is an enormous feat considering 6 months ago we were talking about the potential need for a property tax levy. Again, it's a combination of spending cuts, making tough decisions, and continuing to work on our economy to see revenues increase. This turnaround is a testimony to the leadership and the financial integrity of our council and our staff leaders who have made a lot of these tough decisions despite difficult circumstances in the community. Our 5-year projections, go back here, my apologies. Our 5-year projections currently suggest a positive and growing cash balance with an annual cash flow remaining in the black. What's more, these numbers with these positive projections are incorporating a return to full staffing in our public safety services. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but that's pretty astounding, and we're very, very pleased to say so. In summary here, we're pleased that we can report tonight that the state of our city's financial health is recovering and indeed very positive as we look forward. We'll remain engaged in our city's finances because in Xenia, we keep the bottom line top of mind every time. Very important to us. We're committed to accountability and to ensuring a good value for our taxpayers. And speaking of good value, Xenia presents some of the best, some of the most cost-effective municipal services in all of the Miami Valley region. That was the slide, I got it. We're extremely proud as city leaders to have amazing men and women working for us as firefighters, as police officers, our folks in our public works department, administrative staff, court staff, amazing men and women who work very hard each and every day. Indeed, effective services and good customer service remain key priorities for all of our city staff members. These goals have been more difficult to achieve this year. As I said previously, early this year we had to leave several public safety positions vacant. This included multiple police officer positions, a firefighter position, several administrative positions. But because of our improving financial disposition, we're pleased to commit to fulfilling these public safety vacancies in the first quarter of 2017. Doing so is urgent, it's necessary, and it's because our call volume for both fire and police continues to see increases. This chart demonstrates our call volume in our fire division over the last number of years, dating back a ways. It's a little bit troubling because you can see the linear trend. So it's very important that we continue to generate revenue sufficient to cover this increasing demand in services. We will continue to be very vigilant in looking at this and trying to diagnose the problems and how we come up with solutions that can meet our service needs because we're talking about core services that are essential in our community, like fire and police. And it's important to be reminded that public safety services really require the lion's share of the city's general services operating revenues. In fact, this chart details our income tax distribution, income tax being our largest, our most important revenue source. Between emergency dispatch, fire, EMS, and police services, you're talking roughly 2/3 to 3/4 of our income tax resources going to those essential services. 2007, city leaders will be looking very comprehensively at our fire rescue service delivery methods to determine what options may exist to improve cost efficiency and operational effectiveness in this important area that's seeing such an increase in demand. On the law enforcement side, we're very pleased to be exploring the possibility of the addition of a second school resource officer for the Xenia Community Schools. They're close partners of ours. We've had some initial discussions. We think it's time that we introduce that second officer to help bring more safety to our student population. Additionally, we're looking forward to expanding our neighborhood policing efforts and hoping to reintroduce a focus on neighborhood watch programs now that we can restore back to full staffing in our police division. Speaking of neighborhood outreach, 2016 saw an expansion of our neighborhood night out program. This is a program that we've partnered with the Green Memorial Hospital, with Xenia Community Schools, Kroger, and others. Guests from many of those institutions this evening. It's been a remarkably successful program, getting out at the neighborhood level, connecting with kids, with parents, with families, to talk about city services, to talk about school services, to talk about what's going on in the community. We look forward to repeating that program, even expanding it in 2017. One additional area of service change that's on the horizon that we're anticipating for 2017 is our public service maintenance division. We're looking into to transition our janitorial and mowing services in-house after utilizing contractual services for these operations for a number of years. Our staff has evaluated this service delivery and the growing cost for these services and the changes that are necessary in these areas and determined that a new approach might be more effective. Essentially, by bringing the services in-house, plenty of feedback there, we feel we can get a better level of service delivery. And we feel we'll be able to utilize these additional staff members to expand our off-season services for things like leaf collection and snow removal, which are important services for our residents. Again, we're looking to ensure a maximum value to our taxpayers for their hard-earned dollar through services that are important to them. And this includes making significant changes if we need to make significant changes to services. And while we're talking about significant changes to services, if you live in the city of Xenia, you've experienced a very significant and meaningful change in trash collection services. We've gone from being one of the highest per capita trash producers to one of the highest recyclers as a municipality in the entire region. That's a significant feat, and frankly, our council should be applauded for taking a very bold step forward, going out on a limb and taking a risk that is absolutely benefiting our entire community, both financially as well as aesthetically. Because of steps like this and providing services at such a high level, indeed, we really are setting the pace in Greene County. We have other communities looking to us as leaders in service areas, asking what we're doing and how we're doing it. We want to not just be a leader in things like recycling, however. We want to be a leader in things like economics. We want to see our local economy grow, job opportunities for our citizens. We want to see a restoration of wealth in this community that is so desperately needed. So to do this, we're going to focus on our economy. We're going to be active, we're going to be aggressive in pursuing a diversified approach to our local economy. We're doing this through an initiative that we launched 2 years ago called ED360. ED360 was introduced as an effort and is really beginning to produce some meaningful dividends for the city at this point. It's a strategic approach to economic development that focuses on a host of economic and community development needs and deficiencies and opportunities to position our city for growth and new investment, and frankly, it's working. We recognize that focusing our efforts on merely commercial or industrial recruitment alone will not advance our community in all the ways that it needs to be advanced. Instead, we're taking a broader approach to development, incorporating efforts ranging from image enhancement to downtown rehabilitation, from retention and expansion to housing and neighborhood revitalization. We believe the results are speaking for themselves. Over the past year, we've made substantial progress in some very highly visible areas. Consider the following. In 2016, We launched a community reinvestment area incentive program that leveraged this to break ground on the first new hotel in Xenia in 30 years. The hotel project is now a catalyst for additional retail development in the Progress Drive area, and you will see that retail take form in 2017. Additionally, we applied for and were awarded a federal Hope 6 housing grant, which will be leveraged to convert second and third floors of the Xenia Shoe and Leather building into market-rate downtown housing. This will be a nearly $750,000 investment and should serve to set an example for housing revitalization in downtown Xenia. We've seen the AV building sold to area investors, new partners who share a vision for this iconic facility that will become a major anchor point in our downtown for the foreseeable future. We are presently demolishing the former Kmart facility in the town square. This building sat vacant for more than 2 years and will be removed with the opportunity to develop new downtown retail. Additionally, we've seen one of the region's top home builders, Ryan Homes, launch a major phase of residential development in Xenia. With dozens of new housing units slated for the project, this is the most aggressive housing project in Xenia since the 1990s. We posted the second annual job fair successfully, lining up local job seekers with regional job providers. We've seen the former Super Value Warehouse transition into a new industrial center, attracting new job creators in our community through operations for U.S. Moly and Navistar, both core industrial services in the automotive supply chain. Other retail, commercial, and industrial sites are filling up or filling in our community, like the Xenia Business Center, where American Building Group is relocating to consolidate their regional services and creating 4 new professional jobs right here in our community. The list goes on, but we indeed are not done yet. In 2017, we'll be advancing our industrial recruitment efforts by working with industrial property partners to achieve site certification designations. This includes our Xenia Industrial Park, where we are seeking designation through DP&L's site certification program for a major portion of the park. Additionally, just down the road, we are working with our partners at Greene County and Development Services Agency to designate the R.E.A.C.H industrial site as site-ready through the Site Ohio program. On the retail front, we're poised to respond to the demands of Xenians to meet more of their retail services and shopping needs locally, here in our backyard, by launching an aggressive retail recruitment program with the consulting firm Retail Coach. We feel like now's the time to strike in this important area that affects a lot of our residents very personally. With new additions like Campvention being hosted in Xenia in 2017, and the Athletes in Action organization poised to start construction of the Wooden Family Fieldhouse, we are positioned to reemerge as a retail marketplace. This will attract hundreds of thousands of unique visitors to this community. It'll help to create a marketplace in Xenia that we haven't seen before and stage opportunities for retail development. We're pleased with all of these development efforts, and we'll push forward aggressively with each of these things. But candidly, it's not quite enough. It's essential that for the growth of our economy and for the benefit of Xenia's families that we continue to diversify our approach and make sure that we are affecting change to areas that are important in terms of community of choice. The past year, we've invested in 3 of Xenia's parks, major investments adding both traditional and unique new amenities to these locations. We continue to dedicate substantial resources to rehabilitating Xenia's neighborhood streets as well as our major roadways. Between this fall and next year, we'll invest a total of nearly $3 million to street improvements, a combination of local match and various state grant programs. We'll continue to reinvest in water and sewer infrastructure to ensure reliability, capability, and service safety compliance for these essential utilities. We're partnering with various groups and individuals to ensure quality community programming that's family friendly. The remnants of that elf are still on the sidewalk downtown. Family-friendly programming like the Sunny Cat Memorial Fireworks Festival, the Hometown Christmas Event, Community Festival, Tour de Xenia, etc. We're engaging the folks at the Chamber to see how we can partner together to take the Community Festival to new heights, to really become an attraction to our community. Yet among all the quality of life projects that we have focused on and are continuing to focus on, one project stands out as a transformative opportunity that we feel is on the verge of really moving forward. 5 simple letters that could mean a significant transition in our community. The Recreation, Education, Activity, and Community Health Project, or REACH project, presents an opportunity to advance core service delivery fronts in our community. The REACH project could be transformative for Xenia because it would offer new opportunities for workforce development with Clark State, family and senior recreation opportunities through partnerships with the YMCA and the Senior Center, and the upgrading and expansion of healthcare services through new facilities as part of Kettering Health Network. We're pleased to announce that our associates with Citywide Development Corporation out of Dayton are being awarded a new market tax credit allotment of $40 million in the next year. This is amazing news for the REACH project, as we are now positioned to formally seek funding through Citywide to provide a major portion of the resources needed to move the REACH initiative forward. The REACH project, I think, really is very aptly named for our community. It's symbolic of a community in partnership taking a bold step forward to achieve something much greater than we have today. As we consider the potential for this project and all the initiatives that we've laid out for 2017, we are excited, and we should be excited. Xenia has proven its resiliency in the past. We have a legacy of good people accomplishing great things. We will do all the things that we presented and more because we won't allow success to elude our efforts. Rather, we'll only rest when success concludes our efforts. This evening, I leave with you one final thought. When the roots are deep, there is no reason to fear the wind. This African proverb, I think, embodies Xenia. Indeed, our roots are deep in our faith, in our families, and in our sense of community. As we move forward and face the winds of change head-on together, we'll move past fear. We'll embrace this change for all of the opportunity that it holds, and we'll celebrate our success together. I thank you for your time this evening, for your willingness to grow with us, for your willingness to sacrifice with us. Yet this evening, take some time to mingle, take some time to enjoy this new facility that's been provided. And before I go, I just want to offer a couple thanks. To Carly French, my secretary, Lee Warren, our PR staff member, Michelle Johnson, our city clerk. They've done a lot of work to put this evening together. First time we've done something like this, but it's time that we step up and be proud of who we are and the people we serve in a community that is first class. This won't be the last time we do this. This is a new tradition. We're going to celebrate the pride in our community and celebrate our successes on an annual basis. So on behalf of the Xenia City Council and our staff, thank you for being here this evening. Take some time to mingle, take some time to tour the building and to see these new digs. And again, thank you for your service and contribution to our community.